Hey everybody, welcome back to On the Road to Dr. Effin. I'm Javeda Bay, soon to be Dr. Effin, and this is my web series where I take you along on my journey of being a Black woman in academia, getting two PhDs. And obviously I dropped the ball of making episodes this term, but the term's done now, yay! And I'm gonna do better in winter term, I promise. Things just got like hectic, and honestly, wasn't even my fault, y'all. The pharmacy could not get my ADHD meds, so I did the whole second half of the term unmedicated. So, like, round of applause, please. Um, but I did it. We finished the fall term of the second year of my program at the University of Oregon. Yay! So to recap, I did two classes this term. I was in ethnography within the School of Journalism and Communication. And then I also did a course on race and sexuality in the Indigenous Race and Ethnic Studies department. And it was a good term. It was a really good term. I was a little nervous, mainly about ethnography because a new research method, like that's always a challenging thing. And ethnography is definitely a tricky research method because you can plan all you want, and things are just going to go the way they go. And that's true about like all research, but ethnography in particular. And for me, this term, I got hit with like two separate hurdles in trying to do an ethnography. So I really like, we learned some patience. We really learned to go with the flow of things, because I had started the class with one idea in mind, and I was like, this is going to be great. I can't wait to do this. But if you want to present your research at like conferences and stuff or publish later, you have to get IRB approval. So before I even started it, I was like, let's just go ahead and get this process underway so that way I'll be good to go. And the idea originally was going to be an ethnography looking at how people experience pleasure participating in kink and BDSM. And so I like went and like had a meeting with an IRB person to be like, okay, cool, what do I need to do to make this happen? And they were like, no. And not like a straight up no, like just like the only ways to make it work were ways that I felt were really going to impact the research. So I was like, just kidding, never mind, I'm not going to do that. And we had to pivot and come up with a new idea. And I did, and I came up with a new idea, and I was like, pretty excited about it. And then like once I actually started doing the research, things did not go as I expected them to go, and it completely like derailed the entire project. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. But luckily I have amazing cohort mates and classmates, and they helped me to like find the new aspect of the research. And so I ended up being able to finish the ethnography. Okay, not finish. I ended up being able to finish it for the class, but like, is it a finished research project that I would publish? Not yet. There's still a lot that I need to do to get it to that point. But I did it, and I learned a lot along the way. And I think ethnography is like really, really cool. And I will definitely be using it in future projects. But the challenge of the overall experience and everything about it really made me excited to like continue on with doing my own research, especially research that involves participants. Because up until now, your girl's been doing content analysis. I'm like, I don't want to do IRB. I don't want to do that. Let me just analyze some media. But this required me to actually interact with people, and actually work on some areas where I know that I'm not the strongest. Interviewing is not my strongest research suit. Can I interview in like a journalistic way? Absolutely. Can I interview in like a job hiring way? Absolutely. Can I interview for research? Yeah, kind of, sort of. My number one problem area is probing, which, if you don't know, probing is when like you're participating, your respondent gives you an answer to a question that you ask them, and like they hint at something, but they don't go into enough detail. So then you dig a little deeper into that portion of it. But because it's like you're digging into something they said, you don't have like a prepared question. And so I was like, I'll come back to it. And now I don't ever come back to it. I have ADHD. Like, I remember to do that. But yeah, so I got a lot of experience getting better at things that I'm not so great at, and just learning an entirely new method to use. And I found out I loved it. And because of it, I'm actually doing two ethnographic research projects in the winter term, because I was like, yo, I like this. And I'm the queen of like, if I like it, I'm going to do it right now. So I'm doing two ethnographies next term, and it's going to be very exciting. I'm not going to tell you what they are yet because like I want to get them underway, and then I'll share. Because a friend of mine put this like thought in my mind and was like, don't share your research like ideas with people because they're gonna steal them. And I was like, we got to hold on to intellectual property. But I also was TAing this term, so I was TAing for Women and Gender Studies, the Intro to Women and Gender Studies class. So WGS 101. It was really amazing, really great. I really enjoyed it. I had two sections of students. And it was a really great time. Like truly I enjoyed being able to like be with those students, and like they taught me so much this term. Like it was just a great time overall. But yeah, so fall term went great. We did it. We made it through. I finished with like an A- in race and sexuality and a B plus in ethnography. I don't even know. But I passed the classes. So like, isn't that all that matters? And then we're gearing up for next term because somehow these 3 weeks of winter break are gonna go by faster than anything in the entire world. I know that already. But that doesn't mean that I'm not planning to do a heck of a lot over these 3 weeks. Starting with like this shelf of books right here. This is all stuff that I'm planning on reading over winter break. We'll check in. We'll see what happens. But a big part of winter break is going to be developing the syllabus for it next term because originally I was just supposed to teach intro to women and gender studies again next term. But instead, there was a change with some faculty and things of that nature. And so now I'm actually teaching WGS 201, Intro to Queer Studies. And I'm very excited. I was a little nervous, like when I got the email asking, and I was like, I don't know. But I'm like, of course I can do it. I don't know why I'm so nervous about it. I think it's because I'd already like built my 101 class and I was like, I got this. And so it was just like you have to pivot. But now I'm feeling jazzed about it. I'm very excited to explore queer studies in multiple ways. And I think it's gonna be a good time for the students. Especially because a big component of it is going to be actually talking about things. I really want to build in, and not just like in the classroom. Like I want to build in assignments that really encourage students to have conversations about queerness, about queer politics, about queer everything with people in real life. Because I believe that it doesn't serve us if the only time you're thinking about these things is in the classroom. But yeah, so that's what's happening in winter term. I'm also taking two classes. I'm taking cultural production and contemporary feminist theory. And then I'm also doing a reading course, but it's really just like comps prep because spring term I'm taking my comps for my UO program. So I will be doing so much reading next term while also like teaching it in classes because I got to get my read on. Like my reading list, I want to say probably has like it's well over 100 books and articles on it. That I know for sure. And then I am also chatting with a professor about potentially also doing research credits. So I could do some preliminary research for my dissertation because if you know anything about me, I'm just trying to get out of here. I'm trying to graduate. I'm not like we're not going to drag stuff out. Like no, 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 no. Also because for me to formulate the entire research project of my dissertation, I need some foundational information that currently is not available. So I'm gonna make it available and I'm gonna collect the data myself. So depending on how things go with my professor and if they have like the actual capacity, then I'll also be doing that research project at the same time. So if you're interested in helping my research and you happen to be like a Black woman, keep an eye out because that may be coming out sometime over winter term. Um, but yeah, that's the update. That's where we are. Did this term have some challenges? Absolutely. Did I overcome them? Absolutely. And I'm excited for spring. No, winter term. I really still don't like the term system. But I am excited for winter term and teaching intro to queer studies and the classes I'm taking and really like advancing because like after winter term, like it's happening. We're there. After winter term, it's spring term. I'll need to do I just have to do like 3 more courses of like coursework and then my comps and then y'all, we're basically gonna be in candidacy. Like so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, that's the update. If you're like, Jave, I got questions. I want to know some more about XYZ thing. Let me know in the comments. If you're like, Jave, you a wild woman, you're not wrong. But definitely make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel because hello, why would you not? Especially if you want to follow along in this journey. Follow me on social media, though we all know that there's some ambiguity around some platforms. I am on all of them as of right now, and I'm going to be on them for the foreseeable future. So definitely make sure you follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Pinterest. I'm gonna see. I think I'm gonna get back into posting on Pinterest. But yeah, so all of them, follow me on there, and definitely make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter because if social media decides to be really rude and mean to me, that's how I'm gonna stay in contact with people. And yeah, until next time, I'm gonna see you later. Happy holidays. Deuces.